Finally able to make it to another city council meeting. Had to take off work early. And that's going to be one of the topics of conversation tonight, so I hope you guys will tune in. I'm going to go in, I'm going to sign up for public comments, and let's see what time we check. It's 5:55 on the nose, so I'm going to sign up for public comments, and in the meantime, you guys will be sharing this out. There again, I know this is not everybody else's city council, it's not everybody else's city issues, but I put these streams out for several reasons. And one of them is to encourage other people to get involved in their communities. So, I'm gonna see if it's working. So, yeah, okay. It looks like everything's going good, and we're gonna get ready to go into. Hey, STD, Jugs, good to see you. So we're going to go in and we're going to get set up. So, see how it goes.
Hi, Mom.
How do you just share it out, tell people why I do it. So it's all very important. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Somebody tell me what the name of the stream is coming up on the scheduled stream. You getting chewed out, Mr. Mayor? There, you're gonna in the boss's office.
Try everything straight.
Because I mean, I would chew you out. That's what. I don't think you've had enough for the last month. That's a question a lot of people ask themselves. How could I? More often than not, more often than not, they're going, please tell me how I can miss you. Please. Tell me.
I promise. Is this the same stuff that was in the
You took stuff out of your box, so we'll have to stop here. First one is
You're looking at me like you're looking at me.
I am looking at you in exactly the same way you're looking at me looking at you.
Looking at me.
Yes.
What?
Aren't you saying anything?
No, I wouldn't see it.
Huh?
Why would I?
I don't know.
Yeah, let me see it.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll call the regular city council meeting September 8th, 2025 to order. All council members are present. And we're on to item number 3, approve the agenda with the addition of tourism board term changes. Someone,
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And the motion passes. And then number 4, the consent agenda, minutes from the October 14th and September 3rd city council meetings. And then also the September preliminary and August final accounts payable.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Consent agenda passes. Move on to visitor section. Looks like all we have is time today.
So I get to fill the whole thing?
You can go first
I
and
gotta
last.
go first and last? Let's see if I can do this. All right, there we go. I wanted to start off by saying, first of all, big shout out to everybody in response to the flooding that we had. I know everybody's getting really well practiced at it, but I hate to say it, I think last year wasn't quite as bad, but fire department especially did a great job, and it was nice to see the community working together on that, and I don't think we say that stuff enough, and especially me, who's always critical. So there's a positive for me on that. And I also wanted to say, I think that the Egg Day went spectacularly this year, and I know that Justin caught a little personal pushback as mayor for some stuff that happened downtown as it related to the dance and, and whether or not people could enter to go to the restaurant or whatnot. And I did encourage one individual in particular to say, hey, instead of dragging people through the mud on social media, why don't you come and, if you have something you really want to talk about, or, protest or issue a grievance against your government, you come to the city council meetings. And somebody else asked about, because I shared the agenda for the night, and somebody else said, well, why is this important in particular? And if you've gotten to know me, you know that my reason for this being really important isn't just because we need to be watching you guys, but because this is our community. And if we want to know what's going on, we have to take steps and measures to educate ourselves and to inform ourselves. And part of that is one of the items that's on the agenda tonight, which I hope you guys will really consider, is a change of the meeting time from 6 to something, even 6:30. Because as you noticed, I haven't been here for the last several months because I cannot get off work with any guaranteed regularity to be here without taking unpaid time off to leave work and be here. And this meeting, while it's your guys' meeting, where you're discussing city business, it's really for us. It's for us, and I do know there are other people in the community, like, there are times I'd like to go and talk to the city council about something during public comments, but I can't get there on time. By the time I get off work, get to my vehicle, drove home, I'm either stuck going to the meeting in my work clothes, and for some people, that's just not tenable, or I just can't make it at all. And so I hope that, you know, the council and the mayor will take some time to really think about changing the meeting times. I know it's not easy for you guys, you know, you're used to 6, and I know that there are city staff that have to be here, and it's not easy for them. But it's once a month, and I hope you guys will strongly consider that as a service to the people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 6, the Public Utilities Go Water Revenue Note, Series 2025A. Michael Vaughn.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's been a minute since I've been before you. You know, I can do this quickly and I can do this really slow. I'm hoping to do something a little bit in between, because I know that you're kind of new on the council, as far as I know, right? And have I been in front of you on the council too, since we've done financing?
Yes.
Okay, all right, well, but for Brent's benefit, if you don't mind. So when it comes to city government and debt issuance, cities can't just stroll into a bank and get a commercial loan. You can work with a bank, but your debt has to be structured in the form of government security or a bond. It's highly regulated because of 2 main reasons. One is the general obligation pledge. When you said the GO water revenue note, the GO part, what that means is whatever the borrowing is and whatever the revenue source is identified to make the payments, if they should ever fall short, you're gonna lean on property taxes to make up the difference. It's a really strong protection. And because that puts all of the taxpayers behind it, it's highly regulated. You do certain ones. Then the fact that you get to borrow the money tax exempt. So when you pay interest on the debt, whoever you're paying the interest to, they don't have to pay income taxes on that interest. And so at the federal level, it's highly regulated as well. Well, all that means is regulation means cost, so it's expensive to issue debt. So one of the conversations that we always have is what's the best way to go about issuing the debt, in terms of what's the most efficient. So I have a number of recommendations, including a proposal for you to consider tonight, to finance the public utilities water, their share of the cost of the recent improvements here in town. First off is the size of well, let's talk about statutory authority first. So there's all sorts of pockets of authority sprinkled throughout statutes, but in this case, it's very simple. Chapter 444 allows us to issue utility debt with the general obligation pledge without need of public hearing. There's no protest petitions. It doesn't apply to any statutory net debt limits. It's one of the easiest types of debt to issue in terms of having statutory authority to move forward. In terms of sizing, in your packet, there should be a couple of different, I think Deb's looking at one of them right now, a couple of spreadsheets. Might be just easiest just to look at this one if you have. Do they have this comparison one? The first one has all the same information on this one, but this one is a little bit more. Let me know when you're there. I can also give you mine too.
It wasn't in this pack.
It's in the one with your original.
It wasn't in
You want to do it easier? I'm gonna have to do it by memory though. Okay.
If we can find it, I can do that, yeah.
Well, as you're searching for it, one of the top recommendations is how much do we borrow, right? And so I was informed by Chris over at Utilities through the engineer that the public utilities owes the city $649,000 and change for its share of the cost. So if you were to look at the sources and uses at the top and focus on the right-hand side to start, you see that $649,000. And then you're gonna see all of the issuance costs I told you was expensive associated with that. You have guys like me, I'm a municipal advisor, if you're wondering what my title is. You have bond counsel, all those things come into play. And so you have, what's the total there, 669,000 as the recommended size. As far as term, we're recommending basically a 20-year term. That's based on planning that's being done at the PUC. Chris has wonderful spreadsheets where he's projecting out the future operations costs of the utility plus upcoming projects and inserting those future payments of projects into his cash flow to make sure that the water rates are established correctly. And so the 20-year term is compliant with that planning. As far as method of sale, this is where the two charts kind of combine. On the left-hand side is a hypothetical public sale of bonds. So one way we could sell bonds is to go out into the open market and bid out the project, much like you would bid a road project. So in a road, you bid so many feet of whatever, blacktop and curb and gutter, and then you get these line item bids. Well, if we sold bonds in the open market, what we do is we bid out all the principal. So you've got the first principal payment, the second, the third, and the fourth, and they would bid interest rates on each one of those. They would be assigned each principal payment. And it's very, very costly and expensive to do a public sale. And you might hire a credit rating agency such as Standard & Poor's. They're gonna charge you, I don't know what it was, $15,000 roughly, to get that credit rating, because the rating will help you get a better interest rate. The person or the organization that you sell to is an investment bank. They have no intent to hold it themselves. When they buy the bond, they intend to piece it up and sell it to all the underlying customers. And so they get a piece of the pie as well. So you can see the difference in the borrowing amount. It isn't like $30,000 or $40,000 different. I can't remember, I'm going from memory here, but it was a sizable difference.
Yeah, 30 at least.
And administratively, it's a real headache to go through that process. Preparing the disclosure documents, having the management call with staff, and then maintaining the rating going forward and so forth. So the PUC was interested in pursuing a direct bank placement. I told you earlier you can't do a loan with a bank, but we could sell a bond to a bank. And you'll notice in some of the other documentation a reference to Minnesota Rural Water Association, who, full disclosure, I serve as their municipal advisor as well. But they have direct bank placement programs where the consultants all work for slightly less than their standard fee schedules, and it helps us avoid the need for a broker. Because normally if you're dealing with a variety of banks, I represent you, I don't represent banks. And so the government thinks that I'm gonna take advantage of the bank, so they require a broker to be involved, which just adds cost. But Minnesota Rural Water has pre-selected banks, so I'm free to work with them. So I had secured a proposal through one of those banks and took it to the PUC as a preliminary discussion. And during that time, they said, well, can we use the local banks or one of the local banks? And I said, absolutely. I just can't be the one to solicit them directly because I'm not a broker. So PUC staff reached out to all the local banks, and we had sort of a quasi bid situation, and First National came in with the best bid. We had bids ranging from the low of 455 up to 4.95, and a couple of banks chose not to submit at all. But everybody got a chance, is the point. So at the 4.55% fixed rate being proposed by the bank compared to that public sale, if you look at the total payments over the life of the deal, it's pert near, and that's a big fancy term, pert near equal. I mean, sure, it's a few $1,000s off, but over a 20-year term, in terms of government finance, it's break even in my mind. You might notice a column called pay agent on both. The pay agent fee for the public sale is more expensive because the pay agent is tracking all sorts of different underlying investors, and they invoice, they're an invoicing service is basically what they are. And normally on a bank placement, we wouldn't have that, except for in order to go do a 20-year fixed rate deal with a bank, we had to secure the state's credit enhancement. You might recall at a meeting recently that I wasn't at, you adopted a resolution to the Minnesota PFA going to that program. It was a $500 fee to be in that program, but what that means is the state of Minnesota is backing your bonds. And the anecdote I always give is Imagine the teenager who wants to buy a car, the bank won't lend them any money. So mom and dad co-sign the loan, but the teenager's responsible for the payment, so he's gotta get that job at Dairy Queen to make the payments, right? So you're all the teenagers working at Dairy Queen in the state of Minnesota's mom and dad. And they require us to hire a pay agent, but because it's just invoicing for the one bank, that's why it's only $395 a year, but it's a requirement of that program. So, we've talked about statutory authority, we talked about term, we talked about sizing. Not shown on that sheet, but on the other sheet, you don't have to pull it open. There's something called call option protection, call protection, and what that means is that's the period of time that the city and the PUC promises not to prepay, refinance, or otherwise pay off the bonds early. And the reason we agree to that, at least for a period of time, is investors don't want to go through the work of making an offer to buy your bond and then having to pay them off next week. They want it good for a certain amount of time, and the trick is to set that date at a time frame that's flexible for the city and yet doesn't ding us on the interest rate. And so that date in this situation is February 1st of 2032. Now in the comparison there, the basis for the comparison was City of Albert Lea. You see that there at the bottom? That particular bond, I didn't make note of it, but that bond isn't callable until February of 2035. So we're actually getting better flexibility than what some other cities are getting in the open market in that regard. I figure I keep going and maybe get into the first quarter of the Vikings game, and maybe I'll stop. And
So then this comparison, will this be a guaranteed rate?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, if you approve it tonight, that's the deal, and they cannot change it.
Yeah, because my only question I was gonna ask you is whether or not it was, either one of them could be something that would be paid off early if you needed to, so.
Yep,
Answer.
and the PUC does have some interest in potentially doing that, but they wouldn't be able to do that until 2032. Or if rates become such that refinancing is advantageous, we gotta wait till 2032, either way.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and then, assuming if council approves the sales resolution tonight, the PUC has to adopt a concurring resolution, which happens next Wednesday, the 17th, at 7 in the morning.
At least there's no Tuesday night game to worry about staying up. Can I ask a question, see if I'm understanding this? You're trying to decide between going out into the public market and selling bonds publicly versus selling it
To one of the local banks.
just to a local bank. Okay. And the recommendation is you're better off going through a local bank instead of a public market?
I wouldn't necessarily say you're better off in terms of the overall payments. I'd say it's about a wash.
It's easier.
But it's easier, and you borrow less money.
Okay. I was trying to pay all attention to it. Just
I'm just happy you stayed awake for it.
Any other questions for Mike?
No.
You do have a resolution.
Yep, that was prepared by your bond counsel, Taft Law, who's worked for you, well, as long as I can remember, even when I was sitting in that seat, they worked for us, but they used to be called Briggs and Morgan. But they represent your interests, not the bank, in drafting that resolution, just so you're aware.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2025-29.
I'll second.
Motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much. Deb, if in the email from bond counsel, they would like that resolution quickly, okay.
Yep.
And then just a personal comment, if I may. I haven't driven downtown here in a while. Wow, it looks great. I mean, in terms of the plants and then the mural on the thing, it's fantastic. Looks much better than when I used to work for you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thank
I'll
you.
see ya. I love that you waited to add that until after they voted.
Yeah, I didn't want to look like a butter in my mouth.
All right, moving on to item number 7, 2025 Tracy Road Improvement Day number 2.
In the amount of $244,053.64, there are no issues.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And number 8, resolution 2025-27, resolution certifying the 2025 preliminary property tax levy collectible in 2026.
You ought to go with some. This sheet here. It shows you your budget multi-year comparison for different departments, for the last, since 2016. So you can see how your departments are over time, what they've budgeted, both revenue and expenditures. And then you also have, just a reminder, I guess, at our September 3rd meeting, from what we originally proposed at that meeting, there was some additions to the budget. $8,000 addition for street department utilities, $50,000 addition to street maintenance, construction for repairs, $20,000 addition to capital, building maintenance, which is to cover the ambulance door and the painting at the library, and an additional $10,000 for the fire truck. That we were already putting my $70,000, we now propose $80,000. So based on that, you can see on this sheet, the first one, the 2026 preliminary levy is based on your guys' additions. And then you asked me to do a low and a medium based on that. The low is what was originally proposed in the budget when we went to the meeting, and the middle one is in the middle. The one that you guys with the additions is just about 7% levy increase. Just a reminder, you can, when we do the final levy, you can reduce that, but you cannot increase it. The one in your packet is for the levy, is what you guys, after doing those additions, that's what's in there.
So how did you decide on the numbers, for lowering it? Did you talk to the departments? Or
Yep.
did you guys discuss that at that meeting on the 3rd?
So the one that was stated as original
Yeah,
was with each department's proposed budget.
okay.
There were some items that they did propose, but there were some items that were concerned, like street department utilities were over what they were proposing already for that this year.
And we have 2 catch basins that need to be,
Yeah, I saw that
Rebuild.
in there.
and that's over 100,000 of the 200 that was in there.
So yeah, if we didn't build that in for those, then we'd be looking at cutting back on chip sealing, cutting
Right.
back on pothole filling,
Yeah.
cutting back on a lot of maintenance that's done to help increase the life of our streets.
And then the
So-
20,000 for the capital building was actually, it was in the budget, but different, it was under the library and under the ambulance.
Okay.
So we took it out of there and put it in the capital building.
And the
Both
fire
of
truck,
those are one-time things.
Yeah, and I remember talking about fire
that
trucks.
brings us up more in line with the rural,
Yeah,
and we're due, and they're ready to go, so
yeah,
we need to,
catch up with that.
yeah. 1%, which includes all of our ads from the September 3rd meeting.
I'll second.
So a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to add one thing, just to keep in mind that if we set it at this, we have the ability to lower it.
Right.
But if we accept now tonight, we're in the when we're in the lower, in the middle, we're not going to be able to increase it.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us to go with this highest number, and if necessary, work from that.
Yeah, and my experience with most of the budget battles that I've been in and with the county and stuff too, they always try to get 5 to 6% budget increase, which is really pretty good because we usually end up starting at 30 and then have to work our way down to that. So you guys didn't have quite as much to work with, but that's not uncommon for to have that kind of increase.
Any further discussion?
Was the 7% the top? I'm just trying to, I haven't seen the whole document, so.
Yeah.
That was the top, okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Resolution passes. Move on to number 9, resolution 2025-28, resolution designating official mayor appointments to Departmental committee. Before we get too far into this, originally we had set the number of committee members to 5. We had quite a few letters that I received. At first, I would like to propose raising that number from 5 to 7 to accommodate more of those individuals who are interested. Deb did print out the additional recommendations with that change, so you also received the original 5, so we could go either way.
I'll make a motion to approve Park and Rec Committee.
Yeah, question for you. How many did you have total?
9 total.
9? And you added 2 more, so the 7?
Yes.
Why not add them all then? Because there's just 2 people out there, and I feel that if you're gonna add 2, you might as well add, and you want 9 then, if you got 9. You got 9? I say go with 9 then.
You want to see the names first?
Yep.
I would say that before we make a decision like that, we as a council should know all of the names before we just blindly appoint.
Agreed.
Well, we got 7, and do you know the other 2?
I do.
Can you just? Okay.
Off the top of my head, no. I'd have to come back next.
Well, and then how would you do the terms then on it? Does that affect?
There's
on-
not, there's,
I guess
you're gonna
you
have to
got
stay
9,
in the
so-
terms of 3 each.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I were out there and you went from 5 to 7, and there were 2 more, and I'm like, wow, what come I didn't get on there? Like 2 people. I mean, I think it's not fair that we do all 9 then.
Well, so now if we approve 9 for that, when we renew or when these people run out, are we going to eventually have a problem filling?
No, it's a lifetime member.
Okay.
That
sounds good.
That could be.
That's the only thing that I can see that
No,
would be a problem.
We'll just have it John.
Yeah, but,
We have it on other boards and commissions and committees, so it's not.
we can always bring the number down too if we don't have enough interest
See
in
how
the
it
future.
goes, yeah. Because
I think we need to have a discussion about all of the applicants. Instead of just blindly appointing, some of us not knowing who some of the other people are.
well, we just went from 5, which we were assuming to overnight, now we added 2 more. So, I have no problem with, we can come back into the next meeting and do it. Because at this point, everything's getting pushed back and getting pushed back. So, I mean, do you want to just say, well, should we wait till January to start it then? Because we're getting to the end of the year already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the other thing.
you get into, come back, we're October.
Yeah.
November and December are holidays,
Mhm.
people aren't gonna wanna meet on stuff.
Well, if we push it that far enough too, then some of the stuff that they maybe are considering for next year need to get talked about before we get to the point where, it'd be interesting to see the needs, but I feel a little almost in the dark about the whole,
I know
without seeing
one,
them.
but I don't know your second one.
Brianna Losi was one, Helixon was the other, I don't recall the first one.
Brad Hodgson.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I would just, it's gonna be, like we said, October. So we just wait and just,
You just gave us the names, I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to approve with all 9 members.
I'll second.
Is that also to change it?
Yeah, if you want to change the terms to 3 each.
Yep.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Who seconded it? I'm sorry.
I did.
You did.
No, I don't,
Thought you were gonna say something.
no,
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Resolution passes. All right. Welcome to those, committee members. All right, so we'll move on to item number 10, the VFW, lot, the fellow sidewalk outside the lot. Shelley, if you wanted to come up and, I know you had some questions.
I had some questions about this. I contacted, I'm Shelley Skindlin, the Business Alliance, that's the head of the project for the green space. The question I have was the sidewalks. I know a month ago we talked about, getting the low bid in, and that would, have the sidewalk redone. Well, we hadn't heard anything. I contacted people. We finally got some information that there was another bid apparently from Legends, I don't know, and then the one from JJBK. Theirs was $1,500 cheaper than ours due to engineering costs. We had no idea there was an engineering cost for a sidewalk for $1,500, and I just wanna know, were the bids put out there publicly to the public domain to put in a bid for this, other than just contacting Legends and going with what they had? I don't know, Deb?
That I don't know. Deb, do you?
You guys asked to get another bid.
Yeah,
They're in town, so that's a big price tag. for them.
No,
Legends is in town,
doing a job,
Yep, we're working. on
but they
it.
couldn't do it till next spring, was what it sounded like.
more than likely that would be. the
So it doesn't matter if they're in town or not right now, is what I'm saying. We were not notified that there was an engineering fee. I mean, since when is that, and how is that determined to be $1,500 for a chunk of sidewalk?
case. And that's approximate, we don't know until it's been engineered, whether or not that would be the,
And why are we doing an engineering fee to begin with? I mean, it's a
It has to
sidewalk,
meet ADA requirements by the
okay,
Minnesota Department of Transportation, so there's engineering involved.
okay,
the contractor has to be a certified ADA, contractor with the state.
okay. So the other question is, why isn't this information public? I mean, how come we didn't know that? The JJBK did not know that.
I think for the most part, it's because no residents are altering the city sidewalks. It's only because you're doing a project matching up to it that now.
Yeah,
Shelley, if the city
West.
did request a bid, it all would have been part of that. But the one from JJBK, the council did request that bid.
yeah, that's what I mean. And we had no idea that there was an engineering fee. So now they're willing to, renegotiate it and bring their bid back down. So it would include, the 1,500, and that would be, and they would match what Legends has put out. But,
With that being said, we're not certified ADA sidewalk orders. And we never have been on the 40 slabs of concrete in Spring Valley that we poured in the past.
for the city.
For the city, which have had handicap, what do you call
the ramps,
so with that being said, I don't know how the 68.5 feet by 10 feet, which is gonna meet up with the sidewalk, that's gonna meet up with the sidewalk,
And a curb.
and a curb, can vary at all. There's no handicap accessibility to that sidewalk in that 68.5 feet as far as handicap access, besides coming, whatever it is, 100 feet or better from either direction. So that's where we're concerned with, or just curious actually, with having to have $1,500 approximate engineering fee, which,
We paid $400 for the plan for the pergola. That's what we paid.
The deck,
And
yeah.
there's way more into that than there is the engineering. And that's about, 1,500 is maybe, who knows?
I can't tell you historically, I haven't been around long enough to know, but like I told you, Bruce, when we met last Friday, I'm not interested in doing it twice, because then it goes from 10,000 to 20,000.
You're not gonna
So-
do it twice.
Not if we have an ADA certified engineering on it.
Makes no sense.
Well,
Zero.
as far as.
Just saying.
Matching up the existing sidewalk, then you're not changing the whole sidewalk.
No, we're not changing anything. You're going from this point to this point to
If it
the
was a
third.
brand new sidewalk and you had brand new construction, 100% I understand it.
Here's,
Where you're completely laying it out, but you're matching up the old stuff.
here's where I stand. I love that you guys wanna do it because you're local, I wanna support you, but I also wanna make sure we're following the rules, period. So
What happened
if-
when
if
we
you-
did the ramps? What happened when we did the ramps? You didn't support,
I wasn't here for that, otherwise I would've said the same thing.
wow. Spending money where you don't need to spend it is what you're doing right now.
We're spending money to make sure it's done correctly. Not saying you would do it incorrectly, I'm saying
Whatever.
everything is level.
I'm just telling you, you're spending money the wrong way on that.
I understand.
So now, when we put it in the, when I read it in there, it sounded like it was, does Drew, Drew can he be around and watch him do the project and just make sure it's done right? I mean, that cannot cost more
Drew
than.
said if you do that, the engineering, the 1,500 is probably low because there would be somebody on site the whole time that they're doing it.
That's crazy.
Just like you do your streets.
So,
Let legends do it.
so if it's not at an intersection, where really is the ADA compliance? Cause the curb's the same, curb's not changing, is it?
Nothing is changing.
So basically,
We're
you're
putting
just
a new
doing
sidewalk in, it's
flat.
all busted to crap.
we physically cannot change anything that's there besides the cracks, the
The old flagpole,
the
this,
lips, you know, the trip hazards, which,
Chris almost filed.
Chris found out when we were doing the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
I just don't see where anything can change.
Yeah.
From
What's gonna
Drew,
change?
the last
we're gonna put
paragraph.
rebar in it.
Hold on,
Yeah.
just, hold on.
If you look at the letter from Drew in the last paragraph, it explains the change as of January 17th of 2025,
Okay.
where U.S. Department of Transportation officially adopted the public right-of-way accessibility guides. I'll just read the paragraph. As enforceable standards under the Americans with Disability Act, these standards now apply to new construction and alterations of pedestrian facilities in the public right-of-way. So this is a change as of January 17th, 2025. So that's the need for,
Okay, and then there's some sort
Because
of
of that
ADA compliant or ADA schooling that a guy can go to get certified to do this?
I don't know, I bet Drew could answer that question.
I mean, I'm more than willing to
Yeah.
lower my
He would probably know the answer to
education
that.
if that's an issue, but.
So let me get this straight, so Legends is certified,
They have several people on their crew that.
so then they just inspect it somebody's sitting there inspecting it while
Because
they're.
they've got the certification from the state, they attend the classes. I thought he said like there's 11 or something.
But you said they were in town. Are they willing to do it yet in the,
Chad talked to him, I'm not positive.
We can certainly check, but.
Well, if they're not willing to do it, I mean, this project is
this
planned
project
to
is,
move,
this
isn't
is
it?
ready to
We're
move
there
this
now.
week. This was a month ago that we talked to you about this, and if I wouldn't have even contacted you on Thursday, we'd be sitting here with you guys approving Legends doing it next year, because we had no idea about the engineering costs. Nobody notified us about any changes, so here we'd sit when we could have maybe done something if we'd have known ahead of time.
And we're just assuming spring, because, we're getting late in the season, they're probably got all their projects lined up to the end of the season. If they could squeeze it in, they may be able to, we don't know, we're
Is
assuming.
this something Drew could do, or?
The other part of this is Drew did remind you guys that we could do a downtown project next year if you waited till the spring. You could put it in as an option and you would probably get a lot cheaper price.
Okay, he told me that it's not a part of this Broadway
It wouldn't be
project.
part of the
No,
grant.
it's
But he could do the engineering with that?
When they're on site,
Okay.
generally it's gonna be just materials, because the guys are already here.
What happens when each concrete piece that we're not taking out on either end is not ADA compliant? How do you make the middle ADA compliant at that time?
That's a question for an engineer, not.
I wish Drew was here because it would be
Yeah.
nice to hear his explanation
Oh, gosh,
for that,
yeah.
because I don't really
You guys
understand.
pay way
it
too
either.
much for the engineer.
Well, the other question though I have, you know, to get back to the core of this whole thing is, when you guys do you guys post publicly for bids on projects? I mean, there's contractors all around here that were never notified about that. We could have done it, maybe one of the local people could have done it if we'd have known, you know, because when I talked to, I don't think it was Justin, but I talked to somebody a few weeks ago and nothing had even been posted yet from the city council member said. So is that a normal process? Is this publicly posted?
Because of the price, if it's under 25,000, you guys in the past have just gotten quotes.
But that kind of leads to a transparency issue, doesn't it? Because if you only need two
Not when
bids.
the bid came initially unsolicited in the first place, and we were trying to help you out by just getting another quote, so we could say we were.
No,
doing
I'm not
due
just even
diligence.
talking about this project. Well, we could have probably bid it out to other people and gotten ADA compliant if we'd have known that, without going to Legends, instead of waiting on Legends to do that. You know, and then all of a sudden on Friday morning, we're scrambling, trying to figure out how to do this. When we talked about it a month ago, that we wanted to get this project started, you know, within the next 6 weeks. And if we'd have known that Legends wasn't a part of it, we could have gone out and gotten another bid for you, or other bids or whatever, and maybe they'd hadn't been able, or we'd have had time to get an engineering plan done,
I
is
don't
what
think
I'm
any
saying.
of us really thought about the sidewalk until
Yeah,
after the fact, and so it kind of,
yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, we've had a month, but the question I said, is there, when you guys, do these, don't you think, when you post out projects under 100, or under 25,000, that it should be transparent and put out in the public, so there are multiple, instead of just maybe going to a couple people and saying, I just need bids? I mean, that I think could come back to haunt you too. I'm not being nasty here, I'm just saying, transparency is everything in these days, you know, about everything we do. And, you know, there's a lot of community people that might be able to, that maybe you're not even aware of, that could bid on some of these projects that you're doing, instead of just going out and solicit bids that might be more and costing the community more. So that's my concern right there.
as Deb said, Chad contacted Legends. I don't know if it's because he knew it needed to be ADA, I don't know if it was just by chance because they were in town, I don't know the background on that. We need 2 bids, effectively to move forward and choose one. We have 2. We can make a decision tonight, but if we go with Legends, it's gonna be
Well,
potentially next year.
it's up to you guys.
I just want to be fair, I want you to be transparent. Tell us what Legends did with their engineering. We're not ADA, we don't have our ADA certification, so if that makes the difference to you guys, get Legends to do it next year. We'll do our deal, let them do theirs, and see you next year. Whenever.
I guess my concern is I'd like to get it done now.
Absolutely.
If we can get an engineer to get,
And when they top out the concrete next year on the sidewalk, or they mess up the whole wall across it, and there's gonna be a cost of fixing the wall that just got put in and everything else.
well,
If you're
my
gonna
thing
pour
is
sidewalks,
if we can get maybe Drew or someone to an ADA engineer and do this,
Is there any way, is there any way we can figure this out and not have to wait till the first Monday in October?
yeah.
I mean, if we come up with a different resolution, do we have to wait till the next meeting to figure this out, or?
No. So Shelley had mentioned on Friday that the Business Alliance was willing to pay for the engineering if we went with your bid.
Mhm.
I can't speak for council, I'm fine with that, if that's the agreement you wanna make.
Yeah,
It just may not.
But we're not ADA compliant.
That's right, and that's with the understanding that the engineering approximately.
But
is
that's only the
100.
engineering that has to be ADA, not you guys, right? Is that what I got?
No, as long as the engineer's there, they're compliant.
That's gonna be
Everybody's
the
working.
engineering.
Yeah.
So the guy's gonna sit there from the engineering firm and watch us pour concrete, and the city's gonna pay for this, or we're gonna pay for this, for
Okay,
some guy
somebody
watching us.
Has to be there? I
This is
thought we just
ridiculous.
needed an engineered
No, it
plan.
has to be there.
Somebody has to be there?
Yeah, I can't imagine why it would cost that much money, honestly, if you, how long does it take you for that?
I mean,
Once you set
so
up.
O'Connell's are, we have a bid from O'Connell's to tear it out and prep it, you know, for our needs.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's gonna take, but one day, as far as us setting up and pouring.
One day.
2 days total max. Day for prep,
Right.
I mean, unless it's gotta be there to watch us seal it and saw cut it.
Yeah.
So you'll wanna see the.
I'm guessing they don't need to see the prep work being done, they just need to see it before you pour.
I think the prep work is 100% of the
Okay,
issue.
scratch that, they need to see that.
They need to see, so this is gonna jack up everything that's done in the city from now on then.
Oh.
And you have to keep in mind, this is because of the change that the U.S. Department of Transportation made January 17th of this year.
and
This
that,
doesn't come from
It
the
just,
city
well,
council.
I'm aware of that, but I'm just saying it's only
that's on the street, or is
transportation.
that just on county roads and state?
Or state highways.
Yeah, that's a.
That's state
I
highway.
thought-
98% of the time when the ADA is involved, it touches every level of government.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Well,
I
the county's the same way, every street that we do is ADA compliant, now we have to have somebody inspect it. I mean, it is truly
I did that.
ridiculous.
Okay, we gotta move on. Do you want us to make a decision tonight?
Yes, if that's okay with you guys? I mean, it still
Depends
comes,
on the decision.
well,
Fair.
if they make a motion to give you,
I would like a little bit of grace period, if I can, I can figure out how to become ADA compliant concrete pouring guy in the next week. Or if I can find another crew that I can work with quickly that would be able to get here in the next week or two, which I know.
Or we know what the engineering is gonna cost.
yeah,
I mean, this is a simple little project, that just the engineer can, I could wing it right now, this engineer is gonna cost you $200. It's gonna take me 10 minutes on a computer.
but somebody has
Done
to
deal.
be there.
Right.
I don't understand.
So I guess if there's a way that we can,
If you already have an engineering
I don't
plan,
doubt your work, I know you do great work.
Shelley-
This is a state,
Shelley's
this is not
got
city
paper.
work.
I got the
Right,
paper.
yeah, you can
Give
share
it to
that,
the guys.
if you'd like another copy, we can certainly give you.
I get what your paper says, I'd like a little grace period without having to wait a whole month.
Here's
Well-
the deal.
nothing says we have to do it right now, if they motion it.
I know a lot of union concrete companies that, or, you know, bigger companies that we work with frequently that possibly could get here sooner. That's my only thing, not the price, the whole sooner is better.
If you want a decision tonight, we need to make one now, otherwise we'll table it and it'll be another month and then even further out and it will be spring.
Okay.
So, as far as I'm concerned, the two options are we go with Legends, or you guys, the Business Alliance, pays for the engineering, and we can consider JJBK's bid.
Okay, I'd rather go with that than go with Legends, especially, you know, we have no time frame with them. I mean, they could push us back who knows when,
It
but
could end up being fall, yeah. All right,
if they can't do it this year, we need it done with our project.
is there a motion?
I'll move to go with this project and the 1,500, well, the potential 1,500, what the engineering cost is,
The Business Alliance paying,
with the Business Alliance paying for the engineering costs and JGBK.
Can we get a deposit up front? I mean,
Do we need to contact Drew then, or
I would contact Drew.
is he here tomorrow or
I don't know
around?
when he's gonna be back
Oh,
in
you don't,
town.
okay, all right. I'll just email him.
All right, so we've got a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just to make sure we're clear, that the bid for the sidewalk is going to JJBK, with the Business Alliance paying the engineering costs,
Correct.
correct? That's the motion.
That's correct.
no set amount because. we
With the
don't have-
understanding it could be more than 1,500.
Right, so we know, yes.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 11, approve Lee Novotny for city attorney.
Well, Emily left, Tom is retiring from Butler, so we, as said, he would go back to being our city attorney.
I'll make a motion to approve Lee Novotny.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any further discussion?
Have you
Okay.
talked with
Go
any
ahead.
other cities
Tried,
about what they use for legal representation?
yes,
And then,
tried to get other attorneys, no takers. And Tom also had tried to get some pros and views going on.
I mean, are other cities using that firm as well? Okay.
I've dealt with Novotny on quite a few issues, and I think he would be really good.
That's Sheffield's, right?
Yes.
Sheffield,
He's,
Become a little more certain how you purchase for cities.
is that because you,
He's taken
because you
over
feel
some-
like, see, I don't have any experience with what you had before, did you have issues?
He just, wasn't
Oh,
very
you had
aggressive,
issues
wasn't
with
very
him?
aggressive in certain
Okay.
situations.
So-
I did talk to Scott, and, yeah, he got it faster this one.
Okay, good.
I think what Luann is getting at, correct me if I'm wrong, with the community saying we want action,
Yeah,
we need an attorney to take
Action.
action for us.
so if
And
we
so
had,
need somebody that is gonna be very
Yeah.
active and
have we had a bad experience with him, with the city? Is that what I'm getting from this? That we've had an experience with him that wasn't good in the past? Because I just personally haven't, but.
And what happened was we had prosecution and civil split.
Mhm.
And then when Shelley came to Butler, she wanted prosecution. So,
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
That's
that's,
just what I want to make
is,
sure that we
yeah,
have someone
and
who's
that's
gonna
not
be-
something that I'm familiar with, you guys.
We're all better off than lawyers in this, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so, anything else?
No.
Motion and a second? Further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes. Number 12, meeting time change. So as Todd mentioned, in the visitor section, I have heard from a number of residents in town that if the meeting was a half hour or an hour later, they would be able to join. They're disappointed that they're not able to for whatever personal reason or kids, whatever. So I think that's something that we should definitely consider. Whether or not we move forward with the change is up to you, but if the community is requesting it, I don't see a half an hour being a huge change, but.
I could see a half hour going beyond that at a later time. My thought would be challenges with sporting events and things taking place. There's a football game going on right now at the school that people who are here are missing out on and things like that. That would be my only concern. These are things like that. And then, we've been here an hour already. We still have a few more things to discuss. We start at 7 o'clock, now we're getting to 8:30 before people are getting out of here, 9 o'clock. It just gets a little late.
we get more people now than we had.
Well, that's the other question too, is are we going to outgrow this size of a room and then what?
I would love to outgrow this room.
Well, I mean, that's fine, I'm not saying that's a problem, but that's something we have to consider too,
Yeah.
where we would.
Will it actually bring more people?
One way to find out.
I would propose a temporary time change, see how it goes for the next 4 or 6 months.
I
If
can't
attendance
speak,
doesn't grow, we can always change it again.
I can't speak for the totality of everyone in the public, but a lot of the feedback that I get, especially from people who watch when I can be here to stream, are like, oh man, I'd love to be there. And I don't think that means you're gonna fill a room up with 40 or 50 more people, but there are times where there are people who are very interested in topics that are being discussed, and it just makes it difficult, and they don't understand that you can still come in and hear your topic, especially on a night like tonight, where one topic fills up a lot more space, so they might be able to catch.
I think that's a good point. If most people don't want to be here for the entire meeting, but if if there's one topic they want to hear, they have maybe no idea of when it's gonna take place and when to be here. So by pushing it back a half an hour, we ensure that they can be here for that topic. But then also, it sort of assists us in rumors. You know, you get one person telling someone, and then 6 people down the line, they've got the information wrong. I'd rather have them here to hear it in person.
And we can always go back, right?
Yeah.
So, try it.
What's their motion?
I'll make a motion to change the time of the meetings to 6:30.
I'll second it.
Motion in a second. Any further discussion?
Is this permanent or is this for, like, say, a 4-month trial?
6-month trial.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Let's pack the place up. All right, item 13, street closure discussion. After 8 days, I felt it was valuable to have a discussion. Let's start over. I thought 8 days was great. It was an amazing time. Thank you, Luann, for your part in helping with the committee, volunteering. Thank you all. But the one thing that concerned me was the fireworks during the street dance. I have never received so much negative feedback until that happened.
Keep in mind, that had nothing to do with Ag Days.
And that's why I say I appreciate what you did.
Ag Days Committee had no part of that at all.
I don't want to correlate the two, but it did happen. And so I think we need to safeguard ourselves and the city, and keep that from happening again.
Do we carry insurance to cover that, or do you guys carry insurance to cover that if something happens?
Ag Days has insurance that covers aspects of Ag Days, yes.
Is
But,
this something,
but those fireworks took place outside of the dance area, the enclosed area, and Ag Days had nothing to do with those fireworks that were lit off by a private person, it's out of my knowledge, during the street dance.
have we done an has somebody done an investigation on who the private person was that did it?
There were 3 deputies down there when it happened, and they saw people running but could not catch them or see who they were. And so beyond that, I don't know if there's anything that they would do. And to be honest, I don't care. I'm not gonna put time and energy into finding out who did it. I wanna prevent it from happening again. I saw it from my home. I heard the fireworks, so I came out and I saw them going off, and one hit the roof of the VFW and exploded on the roof. Had that been 20, 30 feet to the east, it would have probably hit a person.
Yeah.
I can't have that,
Right,
period.
no, I agree completely.
Why does it need to be downtown? If you guys can't control your party, and you can't control the people
So where are you
that
gonna
are
move
there.
it?
But that's.
What?
Where are you gonna move it?
I don't know, there's some part where everything else is.
Hang on.
Then
They've
there's no
tried.
buildings that you're gonna burn
They've tried, but
down.
there's no residents that want it up
Hang
there.
on. It doesn't matter where it's held. If an individual lights off fireworks, it's the same issue no matter where you go.
Less buildings
Period.
there.
No, there's just buildings and people still. The safety issue is what I'm concerned about. And whether that's hitting a person and exploding on them, or hitting a building and it lights on fire, it doesn't matter. It's all a safety issue, period. If it's a business, a home, an individual, that's it, period.
So what are you proposing?
I propose that we continue to allow street closures for every event. I don't care what it is, but as soon as something happens, like fireworks, whether they're organized or an individual, it's done, it's shut down.
We've warned how
Set
many
them.
times about it.
Pack up your stuff and go.
So you're saying like,
You
yeah, during the dance and they're going off, bam, they shut down.
But how
This-
is that the responsibility or the fault of the group or individuals that are, I mean, we can't control, I mean,
If you can't control your
Can't
crowd, you shouldn't be
control
having a crowd.
what some people choose to do. It'd be the same if it happened during Fins and Films,
Right.
or
I
if it
agree,
happened during,
But I would
It doesn't.
expect them to
during
use-
Wednesdays on Broadway, or if it happened during any event that took place within the city.
Anytime there's a safety issue, I would say the same exact thing to any event. It doesn't matter if it's Egg Days, Fins and Films, Wednesdays on Broadway, Oktoberfest. If it's unsafe, it needs to end. And if that means means ending the entire event to disperse people, then that's,
So
Well, if
there-
it's not safe, they shouldn't be there, but
Yeah.
I know, but that's sad that somebody would do that during the event.
but that went off on the other end too,
yes. So,
both ends.
That's my understanding.
I really have a hard time believing that the police officers can't find somebody that did that.
well, they're scattered in the crowd, so by the time they got there,
Yeah.
people were gone and running, it's.
We had no idea when they put them there. Justin was standing at the entrance an hour
Yeah.
before they went off.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't see anything?
And so these were like,
Maybe if they have
Through the
more
box.
security
They
on the
were-
outside as well.
they were basically IEDs.
Really?
And I would suggest that for the AB's committee is maybe have a deputy standing in front of them the entire time. Because I don't wanna shut the street dance down,
Yeah, the
honestly,
problem, the
100%.
problem with that is Fillmore County doesn't have enough police or sheriff's staff to be able to do that. That's why Aggies Committee hired the special, security company
Right.
to help within the,
And I-
confines of the dance, the
I
fenced off area.
I appreciate
That's
that.
why we had that, was to help with that situation.
Have been there.
How many of
How
them?
many did they hire?
So,
Seven, six?
I saw
What do you
that.
have
I think it was seven.
for Fillmore, 3?
3, which just showed up, I don't think you guys were even expecting them,
No,
which is great,
because
you
we
have 10
couldn't
people.
we can't count on the sheriff's office necessarily because
You get a call.
they can get a call and they could all have to leave, and who knows what part of the county they have to respond to. So that is a challenge with that.
So,
But it seems like this is so much focusing on it being Ag Days Committee's problem and fault, and this needs to be a much broader discussion, a much broader.
I don't blame Egg Days, the committee, honestly, 100%, I do not blame them. But because it's their event, those fireworks wouldn't have taken place had it been on just an average Thursday evening.
You don't know that for sure. You
Yeah.
can't,
Really?
you can't place that hypothetical on things.
So,
People light off fireworks within the city all the time.
Not right downtown, they don't.
Not on
Generally-
both
Not
sides.
around my buildings, they don't.
True, not
You should talk to the
necessarily
people who live in the
downtown,
commercial
but
house,
they
about how their
happen.
kids freaked out and
They
everything else.
happen around.
So, what I would suggest is those 7 individuals that were hired, to have them at each end, if they're not able or willing, I'll stand on it.
That was.
Because I learned a hard lesson, you do not take money at the gate or wristbands.
Right.
So I'll volunteer to stand at the
Yeah,
end.
my understanding when the company was hired, that was part of what we had assumed, that there would be one of those security guard individuals at each gate, plus then randomly throughout days. And that didn't necessarily happen until further in, when we had another discussion with the head security person, that they moved more towards the gate entrances.
I'm sorry, I don't want you to feel that I'm attacking you or Egg Days. That is not the intent. Had a child fallen off their sled and on the sledding hill during historic, Christmas on historic Broadway and busted their head open because they weren't wearing a helmet, we need to make sure we're keeping the kids safe. So it just happens that it happened around that event.
So.
It has nothing to do with Egg Days.
So when we see one person on that hill in December with no helmet on, we're shutting it down.
I would suggest that.
Absolutely.
If that's, if that's,
I just wanna be clear.
if the chamber comes and says.
What's
we
fair
want-
for one group is fair for all.
I 100% agree.
So
But-
if something unsafe is viewed or is happening during Wednesdays on Broadway, you're gonna shut down the whole Wednesdays on
I would
Broadway?
suggest yes.
Fireworks are illegal.
So, that's true as well. But, yes, to keep it fair, I would suggest that for everyone, but we ask the chamber every time they come and ask for the street closure, with the sledding hill, are you gonna have the kids wear helmets, and they would say yes. So it's not a surprise to them if we show them and say, that kid's not wearing a helmet, shut it down.
There's a sign that says you must have a helmet on.
Been at city council meetings where like, Ag Days Committee has had issues with fireworks, where they were reprimanded for it before. And now
So
it's
this
here
has
again,
happened
and then it's
before.
gonna happen again.
It's
That's because
happened,
it
yeah.
wasn't us.
Ag Days, but like I said, Ag Days Committee has nothing to,
Yeah.
we don't encourage it, we don't sponsor it, we don't host it, we don't ask for it. That has nothing to do with the Ag Days events that are planned, is having fireworks set off during the dance.
I never say anything like this. Anybody who pays any attention to me at all knows. But this is legitimately like the one role of law enforcement.
Yeah.
This is like,
I'm
so
disappointed
I
that
would
somebody
say that
didn't
there's,
get caught.
that
Somebody should have gotten in trouble.
I agree with you.
I
And,
don't,
I agree.
and you said that isn't a concern. I think that's a huge concern, because the only way that's gonna stop is if that person gets stuck with something.
Somebody knows something.
Somebody has to know something.
It bothers me when people do it on their private property, because I know the hazards of it. But that's your private property, I guess, do whatever you want. Even though it's illegal, do whatever you wanna do. But when it happens in a public space, that I'm very concerned about that.
That's a huge step, Mr. Mayor, to go and shut down every public event ever over one person who's outside of the event doing something. Now you're literally disciplining, punishing the totality of the community for the actions of one person.
Can the city launch an investigation into who did it? Granted, we're probably not gonna find out, but I personally like the street dance downtown. I don't wanna see that go away.
The city can't, it's up to the sheriff's office.
Well, no, I like downtown being full of shit.
Yeah,
I guess in the long run, number one, nobody did get hurt. Whoever did do it, I don't know, hopefully they're out there thinking, wow, they really got away with something. I would feel just terrible to know. All I could think about is what if something happened and everything went down. We would not be sitting here, I can tell you that much. And it's just hashing this over. I mean, it's just like, okay, let's just move on. We know you're deciding what you're gonna do. You do it for everybody. Okay.
But if you're out there that something like this happens,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
gonna be
just-
shut down, then that might deter somebody from actually doing it.
Exactly. So
Not the
whoever it
people that
was,
did this.
I hope they realize what they did.
No, they,
Like I told the cop that night, shut the party down. You can't control your party. Shut the party down. It would've made a point, don't let fireworks off. I don't get to have fun. It was it was 10 something, towards the end of it, there's 20 minutes left, shut it down. Make a point, don't fucking put up with it. Sorry about the F-bomb. It's really just, I mean, it's. I got 5 buildings down there. One time the fireworks were let off down there by somebody, they lit the roof of Johnny Ringo's on fire. Okay, it's happened once before. If you don't make a point of it and tell them to no, and say no, and like, it's just gonna keep happening. And then it'll be nobody else's fault. It'll be, oh, it's not us, it was a kid we kicked out, or whatever the story was there this year.
I want people to have fun, and I want people to cut loose.
Maybe turn it into a 21 plus event, maybe it won't have the idiots around.
We can't spend much more time on this, we've got a ton more to do. I want people to enjoy themselves during the events that take place in Spring Valley, but I want them to do it safely. And so if it means shutting it down to keep people safe, I would prefer that. I'm not telling you what to do, it's gonna be a vote. And we don't have to vote tonight, I'm just saying, in the future, we need to consider what we're saying yes to, and what the group organizers are agreeing to when we allow them to shut down the street.
So number 13 technically probably should be entitled event closure discussion.
Do you guys make people, I think we had to show you guys our insurance thing, did you guys, did the A-Base committee show the city their insurance?
I think it would probably be smart to ask for that as well, so we know what,
If they're actually covered sufficiently.
because in the end, if we don't have sufficient, or if the event doesn't have sufficient insurance, then we're liable, it's coming back on us.
I think the city, if y'all are talking about shutting down events for XYZ, you should come up with a policy so that it can be straight, narrow, you know, if illegal activity like fireworks comes out, events shut down, there's no questions asked. You need to have XYZ for insurance if you're gonna have over 1,000 people, over 2,000 people. You know, I'm all about policies.
Luann, do you have some type, not to keep on here a little bit, but do you guys have some type of policy on, like, say for instance, like thunderstorm or something, when you stop it and make people leave, or I know it's imaginary, but is any of that stuff like discussed as part of your safety thing with you, or is
So
that
no.
completely, do you completely rely on
So I know
that?
like this past year, we had weather kind of
Yeah,
sketchy weather, we relied on
So you
emergency
have
management
John Deere
to work
go
with
to?
the committee to get information from them on, okay,
We're in
what is
constant
it?
contact, myself and the county emergency manager are in constant contact with the weather service for the entire.
well, the only reason I was asking it, I'm just using weather as an example of something, of a safety issue, similar to this would be a safety issue also for them.
'Cause
But
that-
that's not gonna be your job as an emergency management, your management, you're doing weather. But I'm just saying, is there something that you guys talk about, you know, for safety if something else happened, what if somebody, you know, walks in there with a weapon or something, you know what I mean? It's
not pretty good.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's why I say for, with the
Why
fireworks,
exactly?
this weather was sketchy at the time for fireworks, and so I know members of the committee were working with emergency management within town to say, how does it look, which we, then they said, start them early, so then fireworks were held a little earlier than planned to get them in, and so,
The
yeah,
dance
they
was a
do.
standard too, right?
What?
The dance was an hour earlier.
Yes, because of the chance of bad weather, so that was moving far ahead, so we do keep that, or they do keep that in mind, the group does.
Yeah.
When making decisions about that, but I really think this discussion, this number 13 needs to be a much broader term and thought about in a broader context as being event disclosure discussion. And I do agree that there should be like a written policy, there should be more in-depth discussion on this topic.
I do not want a motion tonight. I will, I'll write something up, bring it back, and you guys can take a look at it,
Sounds good.
make your edits. Seem good? Yep. Okay, thank you. Moving on to number 14, Tourism Board, member term changes. So after the Tourism Board met for the first time, they chose their officers, which I suggested changing terms as well to fit those offices. So highlighted there are the changes. I don't recall what the original ones were, but those would be the new ones if approved by council.
Do we know who the appointments were for like?
Yeah, so chair is Jen Slifka, the treasurer is Wendy Betts, and secretary is Angie Kinsmer.
I'll make a motion to accept the tourism board member term changes.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Let's move on to reports. Let's see. Chad's not here, it's got a written report. Good. Do you have anything to add?
No.
All right, and John's not here, he submitted.
Yep,
report
we got
to
his
John.
report. He's working with plumbers in order to resolve the sewer issues that we had with the flooding that occurred last month. Trying to figure out the best way to prevent that going forward. Everything else in the community center is busy and going great. Fall Park and Rec is off and running. They hosted their first 5th and 6th grade football games last Saturday. They have a home game each of the next 4 out of 5 Saturdays, and we would like to thank our coaches, our volunteer coaches for the fall. 6th grade, Scott Howard and Eric Brown, 5th grade, Tom Lentz and Chris Skier and Jeremiah Falk, and 4th grade, John Peterson and Mike Hoggerud. They're also working with the street department in order to get some Shakopee Red Rock to put on the big ball field at South Park. Heavy rains over the past summer have washed a lot of that out, so we're gonna need to bring some of that in and get it graded back up to speed before spring. And they're working on winterizing the pool. The repairs to the baby pool will take place in the spring. Both companies John spoke with, neither one were able to do it this fall, they're too busy.
Thank you. And City Hall, Debbie submitted a written report. All right, thank you. Chris,
No written report in there for you.
nothing to add?
No, no writing.
Read this out till 9 o'clock.
Chris is trying to watch the football game on his watch.
All right, Melissa's not here
I did
either.
have a little, she sent something real quick. So, did she send it to you too, Deb?
What?
Melissa? Oh, okay. She sent me. You weren't here, so. Anyway, she sent me a report saying that, she was gonna be here tonight, something came up, she couldn't get back in time, and she was planning on it. She had nothing, but, they have some maintenance needs in the library, and they're working on their some new training on their new system. Also, the Friends of the Library presented the library with a new rocker. I was up there to see it, it's really nice, I'd like to have it in my place. cause it is everything, all bells and
Well, we're
whistles.
where it went. If you're just curious.
I wouldn't even be able to move it, it's that big. And they also got, the new, they're not bean bags, but they're inflatable bags sitting there, rather than bean bag. So they got, I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 of those, so those were new too, and that was from the Friends of the Library.
Should elaborate any on the maintenance needs and what they're looking
No,
at.
that's what she just said, just, working on some new, or just the maintenance needs in the library.
Okay.
She didn't go into anything about that.
No update on the EFS?
No.
Okay. All right, move on to ambulance. Mike, do you have anything?
I had a lot to report, I mean, slow month, 60 calls was all last month. Several times both trucks were out at the same time. CPR classes continue to be on our schedule, so that's pretty much it. Any questions?
What's your highest month? Seems like 60 is pretty up there.
You know, we've been, I wanna say when we took them to 80, it was in the upper 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. So but we still got a couple months to go, and cold and flu season's coming, and trip and fall and slip and fall season's coming, so. That's all revenue generators.
That's all just in my house.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Dustin.
I'll just go over our calls real quick. Last month we got called out for the flooding. We had one vehicle that was stalled out in the middle of the flood zone, in the standing water with a guy inside of it, so we had to go out, we got called out to rescue him out of there. And then we got called out to detour traffic around town, trying to keep everything as safe as we can. That was with all the flooding. We also had a skid loader that was on fire. No one was in it, thankfully. We had 2 different vehicle accidents that we got called out to. We also got called out to a vehicle on fire that was left abandoned. So that was it for calls. And then trainings. We just did cleanup after egg days. Started training after the chicken barbecue that Monday, so we always clean up, put everything away. And then the next training night was supposed to be Labor Day, so we didn't have a training that night. With that being said, big thanks for everyone that came for chicken barbecue over egg days. Pretty good success down there, so. That's all.
Chicken was amazing this year.
I did hear a lot of good compliments this year,
Yeah,
so.
there was.
Anything else?
Who did the seasoning this year then? That's what you need. You didn't let Japeski, you didn't let, you didn't let the,
Secret recipe.
didn't let the Japeski boys anywhere in here.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, police written report. Move on to council updates. Brent.
I just on the flood stuff too, I went out to check County 1 that come through when the water went over the road, and I got, where the old chief secretary is, I don't know what it's called now. Jason Smith was standing there directing traffic. So honestly, I'd like to thank that guy because he was there the whole time until the water went down. And I went there, and then he stayed there, and I went up and sent him up down the back street past the cemetery, and then he went down and stood at the end and directed him back into town. So I thought, I mean, I'm sure there were other people that helped with it, but that just happened to be somebody.
Ashley and Eric Brown and Springy were out helping with barricades and.
Yeah, I
helping
mean, it
divert
was,
People and, yeah, it was a whole.
it was fun to see everybody.
Like Todd said, during the visitor section, the whole community came out and supported whatever they needed to do
Yeah.
to help.
That was cool.
It's good to see. Thank you. Chris.
I really don't have much, just that Wednesdays on Broadway is coming up, so that's the next event. That'll be fun on the 17th of September. We get out and enjoy. Just hope that we can get into a little bit different phase of making sure our community is taken care of and everything goes good, everybody's happy, we can all work together. So,
Thank you. John.
Nothing.
I think I say this every meeting, and hopefully one of them that sticks, please slow down on the residential streets. Young kids are still outside playing, and it starts to get dark earlier, and we have nice weather, and just slow down a little bit. I realize people are in a hurry and want to get places quickly, but be thoughtful when you're driving in the cities and the residential streets. Slow down and just pay attention to how close are. And then a reminder about the upcoming Relay for Life event. So hopefully that can be well attended.
Which reminds us, what time do we have to be there on Saturday?
4:30.
So mayor's report, yes, the Relay for Life, you all should have a sheet of what's expected of you during that event. We're going to be there 4:30 on Saturday. We'll be serving food to all the folks coming through the line. Back to Egg Days, again, thank you to the committee, to Luann, all the volunteers, all the sponsors, everyone that attended. It's always a fun weekend, and I appreciate that we can continue to keep it going. This day and age, some events seem to trickle off, but it's always fun and always something to do for nearly the entire week. So thank you for that. Thank you, John, and the emergency management folks for keeping us safe during that event, and then as well as with the flooding. And that goes for fire, EMT, deputies, state patrol, volunteers, MnDOT, yeah, all everybody that had a hand in
Our county highway department.
Yes, everybody that had anything to do with helping to keep our residents and passenger crews safe, because as Dustin mentioned, there are people who will drive through, try and drive through, and they do get stuck. So I appreciate everyone pitching in to help with that effort. As I mentioned before, the tourism board met. Yeah, we met last Thursday. It was a great meeting. They're ready to go. They're excited. I expect that they'll do some pretty amazing things. They've got some great ideas and a lot of energy to get going. So I expect to see some exciting things from them. And then lastly, next Wednesday, the 17th, there was a misprint in our newsletter. It said Tuesday, September 17th is the town hall. It is Wednesday, the 17th.
You're gonna,
Please be there Wednesday, the 17th.
you're gonna do that in the middle of Egg Days or Wednesdays on Broadway?
That was a scheduling error on my part. I did not mean to do it during Wednesdays on Broadway, but it is the last hour, so go down and have a couple hours of fun and then come over to the town hall on Wednesday, September 17th, 7 p.m. And Brent has agreed to join me for that. So there is no topic. It's going to be open forum, whatever you got to get off your chest, good, bad, or otherwise.
I'm standing outside and directing all the people that have been drinking into the town hall.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you.
You're gonna regret that.
Anyways, yeah, so get out and enjoy that, and then come over, enjoy Wednesdays on Broadway, and then come over to the town hall, and we can discuss some things here in town. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. So if there's a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion and a second, any further discussion? In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
I do tune in occasionally. Just for your awareness. Fire and EMS block every time that flood happens, and we stay trucks on both sides.
I know.
We always have.
Oh, I know. That's what I said in there, but.
And the one I saw, you said, oh, it's cut off there all on the side.
No, I said if you look closely, in the one part I go, if you look closely, they're up on, we have trucks on the other side. And,
Well,
yeah, because I saw an ambulance going by and I said, I bet they're staging over by Hilltop.
since
Or Hillside.
since I've been involved,
Yep.
that was in 1983,
Yeah, you've been at it for a while, yeah?
42 years.
No, that's why I said that, is I know that they do, but it's, I was trying to explain to people that under that circumstance, if you don't have people that are paying, if you're not paying attention or you don't have people that are on top of it, then yeah, all of our emergency services are on one side.
We do talk.
I know you guys do. That's fine.
You want me to tell you all about how my mama taught me to be an individual in community and such?
This guy keeps calling me a lefty.
You're a lefty.
He keeps calling me a leftist.
He's a progressive leftist. You leaving already, Shelly?
Now I gotta go. Ah, there we are. So I'm gonna walk home and make myself some dinner. Get the last of my steps in. No, Jugs, what I did not set anybody up to get arrested for public intoxication. That's already illegal, and I think that's a crap law. What my point was it was in the direction that the mayor gave, or the comment that the mayor gave, which Justin's, I have a lot of respect for him. I disagree with him on this issue, in that people who set up these fireworks in a very dangerous area, that's a violation of the non-aggression principle. And the way they were set up, it was very dangerous. In fact, I just saw a video of it, and they were set up right by barricades, right by where people were gathering, and they appeared to be on timers. So when you do that, you are endangering people needlessly and recklessly, which once again is a violation of the non-aggression principle. And the mayor should be wanting that investigated. That is like one of the few legitimate concerns or functions of law enforcement, which is to adjudicate, or not adjudicate, but to investigate and come to a conclusion on charging or passing charges on for someone who is endangering people in such a way, or endangering private property in such a way, or even public property. So I really do, that one really floored me, to be honest with you. So drink in public, as long as you're not hurting people or harassing them or breaking into their private property and stealing things from them, be intoxicated in public, I don't care. But yeah, anyway, as you saw, meeting got a little heated over a couple of points tonight, some of it with public contractors or private contractors, and some of it between the public servants with each other over these conversations that they were having. So even in a town of 2,700 people, there's something to be said for people not always seeing eye to eye. But said my piece. We got the meeting times changed, and we're going to be doing 2 streams next Wednesday. We're going to do a walk and talk for Wednesdays on Broadway, and then I'll be tossing that over to the meeting with the town hall. So I'll be covering both of those next Wednesday. So until next time, my friends, fight for your freedom, it is yours. Fight for your liberty, it belongs to you. And sic semper tyrannis. And thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all the chats.